Hi, I'm Cindy Cloud with Riley Blake Designs, and this new tutorial is about how to make a first line responder mask. I feel compelled to make a new video because my mask cover tutorial I posted a year ago was aimed at not spreading germs after you were sick. We've all heard the call that our nation is needing more masks and locally and nationally in our hospitals. So this tutorial is specifically designed to make masks for first responders. I'm an RN, not practicing currently. I was a flight nurse, I was a high-risk OB nurse, and I really want to support, like many of you, our local healthcare workers and first-line responders. So I looked into all the patterns that are online, and in fact, a nursing friend sent me a link to an AB mask made for a nurse by Jessica Nandino. What I liked about this blog post is that she showed nurses what they were wanting to wear, and she also used all fabric, no elastic, and we know elastic is in short supply. So you can visit our blog and see the many different tutorials that we have of different masks and links to the original post as well as information on the mask. We have options for beginner sewers and more advanced beginners. So let me show you a couple of the masks that we have on our blog. This one does use elastic. So if you still have an elastic at home, this is a really easy sewing project to do for a mask. If you don't have a mask tutorial, here's another one designed. I like this design too. It fits snugly on your face. It fits snug on your face, not snugly, snug on your face. And what's nice about this is it has all fabric ties. So that's a good option too. This is the mask I wanted to show you today. And like I mentioned, I found a lot on the internet, and this was designed to fit over an N95 mask, is what Jessica's tutorial was made by a nurse for a nurse. So you can see how that fits over the approved N95 mask, which we know it's the only mask approved to protect from the coronavirus. We know these masks have limited use, and the theory is that this covering, this fabric mask, adds life to the mask because it adds a layer of protection to the mask. But many first-line responders do not have an N95 mask. They have masks like this. So adding a fabric mask can allow them to have extra protection. What I did that's a little bit different from what's out there, I took from different tutorials, is I did add a pocket. This pocket allows for healthcare workers to add more layers of protection, like fabric. Like here's a wool piece, you can add that in, because really you need more protection around your nose and your mouth. So adds more protection. You can add filtering options. I've even heard of people using coffee filters to add in here, paper towels. But what is nice is that you can take those items out. The fabric is washable, it's reusable, and because many of these are needed, because once the fabric is wet, that is when organisms grow and germs are spreading. So these would need to be switched out more often. And that's why healthcare workers, they need so many of these masks. So let me show you how to make them. So like I mentioned, the made for a nurse by a nurse, they have a template. I've adjusted it a little bit because I did add that feature of the pocket. And so we do have a template for that. She mentions to use a fat quarter to cut this out. If you're going to add the pocket, you need 8 inches of fabric by width of fabric. And you're going to use almost every little bit of the 8 inches. So let me show you how to create this. I've already cut off my selvage on the end. And now you're going to need 3 layers. And so you grab your template, and you want to waste no fabric. Oh, and here there's a fold mark right here. So you're gonna have to have a fold, and you're going to push this over as far as you can, your template, because this long strip is going to be your ties. So once you have that positioned on the fold. You can mark it, cut it out with scissors. If you're a quilter, you know it's just easier to use your rotary cutter. My blade's getting a little dull. We've made a lot of masks at Riley Blade Designs so far. Okay, so you're going to do that. You've got 2 here. And then you're gonna trim off your extra right here. And then I would open up, because you just need 1 more layer. You'd fold that over just like this. On the fold. I know, I should turn that around. I know many of you have said, don't cut it out that way. I'm gonna turn it just like that. Okay, so you've got your 3 pieces. Again, my blade's getting a little dull. I need to switch that out. So once you have those cut out, set those aside. You're gonna cut out your ties. Actually, you don't need to undo that. And you're gonna do 2 inches. And since we have 8 inches, you know we can do 4 of those. This one is gonna be your only long tie that you do not have to piece together. So you've got 1 long tie. I'm gonna cut that top off there. And then cut 2 inches for 3 more slices. Okay. So now, like I mentioned, this piece will be perfect for a long strap, and the other ones, I'll put that over here. The other ones you're gonna have to sew together to get your full length. You can do right sides together, end to end, and sew across there, but when you fold it over for your strap, you get a lot of bulk. So if you're a quilter, you know how to do this binding. And again, if that's the easy way for you to do it, it'll be fine. But as quilters, we do right sides together. Put that up there. And we're gonna make 1 continuous piece. So we cross it like this. And you're gonna sew from this cleavage to this cleavage, right across there, and trim it off. And you're gonna have 1 continuous piece like this. So once you sew your 3 sections together, it's gonna be 1 continuous piece. So that's a little extra step, but we're using every bit of our 8 inches of fabric. We have no waste on this project. So once you get your 3 masks together, you're gonna grab your template together and you're gonna make some darts. Now, don't be afraid of darts. Darts are easy, but they can kind of be worrisome if you haven't done a lot of sewing. So this is kind of an advanced beginner, but you can do this. If you can sew, you can do this. So you're gonna lay your folded half mask in half, and you're gonna, on the wrong side of the fabric, you're gonna mark your darts. And if you print your template or trace it out on cardstock, you can fold these little flaps back and make marks for your dart. So this is your nose area. This is your nose, and that's for your chin. And you do it on all 3 of your pieces, and then you take it to the machine and you start on this part of your fabric. You're gonna back stitch to lock in your stitch, finish off the end, back stitch, lock your stitch, finish off the end. And so you have your darts sewn, and then you trim them off. So I'm going to show that to you now. Okay, so here we have our, bring it back, I've already trimmed them off, and you have your 3 pieces ready to assemble. Here's my 2 pieces right here. And you're doing wrong sides together because you're gonna put, and first find your nose section and make sure it's the longest part, and you're gonna put nose to nose, wrong sides together. Now your third piece where you're making your pocket, I've already sewn this, but let me show you how you do it. So this is, pretend this is our third piece. You're going to fold once, fold twice, stitch across the top, fold once, fold twice, stitch across the top, and you have your third piece. So now that we have these all 3 pieces, chins go to chins, nose go to nose, and I put my third piece on, and now we're going to pin. All 3 layers, you can open up your seam so you don't have a lot of bulk. Pin there. Open up. It's a little harder to do the chin part, so I kind of just flipped it one way and then the other, so I don't have a lot of bulk there. Okay, so we've got that pinned here. Now these 2 are going to line up there on the side. And then this is going to be about 1 inch off, or maybe a little less than 1 inch off. Our pocket. So see how we're making our pocket? Oops. Okay, so now we've got our top and bottom secured with pins. Now we're gonna do the darts on the side, or little pleats. And I marked these on the inside. These are our little pleat marks right here. And I just do a quick mark on both sides. They're about 3/8 inch apart, and they're 3/4 inches in between them. And I'm going to just pin them real quickly. I repeat that on the other side, and then I'm going to take it to the machine, and I'm going to do a scant 1/4 inch all along here, and then just kind of a same minimal top stitch 1/4 inch all the way around my mask, so everything is tacked down. And this is what it looks like. So it's all been sewn. I can take all my pins out now. And now I'm going to put my straps on and finish up my mask. So how I do that is I come over here. I've got to make my straps. So I have my long piece that was, that was cut out 1 continuous strip, and then I have my pieced strip. And if you have this tool, lucky you, you don't have to have it, but they're nice to have. It's a bias tape maker. Let me show you how to use it real quickly. You make your point on the end of your fabric. I'll slide it in first. They recommend you putting it in through there. And you can pull it through with a pin. Okay. And we can start clear over here because it's going to advance. Bring that all the way over. Just be mindful And it's a good time. This tutorial is best for non-directional fabric. So if you have prints facing a certain way, just be mindful of that. But if we're just trying to do the best we can. So solid prints, we can just crank out as many masks as we can to provide them for a healthcare worker. Anything will be appreciated. So this is quickly made. Now let me show you, I'm gonna just trim off the edge, how to make it if you do not have one of those handy little tools. This one was put together, pieced together, like I mentioned before. I go through, my iron's spitting water at me. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to open it up. That is our fold line. Well, that's where we're putting the centers of our two sides into. Now, they tend to pop up this way. So I do like to use my clapper to kind of follow it behind me as I'm putting this, and it just kind of absorbs the heat and moisture. If you have kind of a weighted item to follow you after you are ironing, that is helpful because it takes just a little bit longer to do this. So you can see how you're folding over. It's nice to have the bolt distributed. Okay. You can see this just takes a little bit longer. Okay, and then you have to fold it over again to finish your bias tape. It's kind of just making binding like a quilter would do. Again, it's nice to have this clapper because those tend to pop up. Okay, and that is ready to go. So we're bringing this over here. Now, to do each of your sides, I take 3 inches on both sides. Okay, so I need 3 inches on both sides. I take it off both. I think I needed to press this over, so I'm going to finger press that over. I need to just trim off this end. Okay, and you want, it's nice to have 36 inches on the ties. So if you can keep them long, keep them long. All right, so now we're putting this on just like this. So pin away. I'm gonna pen that way towards me. Repeat on the other side. And you're going to take it in the machine and sew across here, making sure you're catching the underside. So once the two sides are sewn, you're going to take the center. So fold your long tie in two, find the center. You're going to mark that, and it's going in the center of your mask, just like that. Okay, this is a really good time. Now, this is a fabric only face mask tutorial, but if you have, for the bridge of your nose, if you have something like a pipe cleaner, or this is from an old mask, it's already been used, if you can take out the metal of this mask or have kind of a metal option, that would be fantastic, because the only thing that I would really admonish you to add to the mask is some kind of device that can clip on the nose. And so I've heard of pipe cleaners being used. And like I said, this is from a mask. I'm just taking the metal part from a mask because it really is nice to have a closure around the nose. And why I'm pinning this off, just as important of covering your face and nose is your eyes. So having our first line responders, hopefully they have some kind of goggles or glasses that they can wear, because that's important too. But we are just talking about masks for now. Okay, so I'm pinning that along here. So again, if you don't have any kind of wire or pipe cleaner, I have heard of some hospital workers, they're adding that later. So make masks. Even if you don't have that, just make a fabric mask. It is better than not having one at all. Okay, so that top's all applied together. And then I just kind of pin occasionally down, making sure everything's closed. Now you're going to tuck the ends in on both sides so you have a finished end. And then you're going to start sewing. You're going to back stitch here, sew along here, sew all the way down across the bridge of the nose, all the way to the other side, finishing it just like how you started with a back stitch. And you repeat that for the top and bottom. And so your mask is finished. And this is what it looks like. Again, it's meant to go over a N95 mask, but it also works really well. Gives you good protection if you are wearing it without the covering. So I hope you'll join us in the efforts of providing these masks to our first line responders. We know this is a making community. We know you want to be helpful. So tune into our blog and we will feature things that we can all do together. So thanks for watching, and remember, we are stronger together.